Hi, welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Josh.
And I'm Drew.
And this is our weekly pull list review for August 19th. We're going to start out this week with Archie number 2. This is by Mark Waid and Fiona Staples. Drew, run us real quick through what happened with this.
In Archie number 2, we see Archie try to find a job that he can hold down without screwing it up. And we see Betty Cooper attempt to be a real girl.
Yeah, so right off the bat, I'm liking this.
I liked it a lot too. I liked it better than the first issue, actually.
Me too. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of good humor to it.
Mm-hmm. I think we mentioned last time that a lot of the artwork does a really great job showing movement, and I don't think this was any exception at all. Everybody seemed in action in every panel, and it was awesome.
Yeah, there's always some sort of push to the next thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fun read, man.
Yeah, it's great. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, me too. I didn't think I'd ever really get into Archie, but
Yeah.
Leave it to Mark Waid and Fiona Staples, I guess.
For sure.
They're doing a really good job here building the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel lost. I really feel like I'm learning who these characters are in a really natural kind of way.
Yeah, we got a very natural backstory on Jughead pretty early in this issue. Mm-hmm. And again, not being super familiar with the Archie universe, I didn't really know much about him. You know, I knew he had the hat and he was Archie's best friend, whatever. But other than that, didn't really know. Yeah, and this is definitely, even with just a few panels of backstory, added a ton of depth to the character.
I agree. I've always just known Jughead as sort of the goofy smart kid, but I never knew why he had that attitude, and I wasn't going to read Archie to figure it out.
Right.
But yeah, this does a good job of sort of explaining who he is. And then we get kind of the same thing with Betty as well. Maybe not the backstory, but we get a glimpse into the character that sort of helps explain who she is and what kind of character she is. She's sort of that girl next door tomboy kind of character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a lot of fun reading it so far. I like this comic quite a bit. I'm glad we're reading it.
Me too. Again, leave it to Mark Waid and Fiona Staples to make us a fan of Archie.
Yeah, go figure. Well, let's talk about the only Big 2 title we have this week, and that's Wierdworld, which is about as non-Big 2 as I think I've read in a while. This is by Jason Aaron with art by Del Mundo, and then coloring by Del Mundo and D'Alfonso.
Erkan and his buddy, they rescue the Crystal Prince and manage to escape. No sooner does that happen, though, than Erkan is being pursued by an assassin.
Yeah, and man, we both did the same thing when we opened this up. We just went, damn!
Yeah.
Look at this!
The first, 2-page spread is so pretty. Mm-hmm. I have to make the same complaint again. Looking at the cover, I wouldn't expect the first 2-page spread to look like that. I don't know what the hell the strategy is with cover art. Maybe they're going for that. They're trying to deter people from reading it so that only certain people will find out about it. I don't know what the strategy is.
I don't know what's going on there either. It doesn't make any sense.
Every other page in the book is prettier than the cover.
Mm-hmm. The cover is sort of a clever thing here. In black and white, actually, if you look at it, it's much more obvious what's happening, right? It's supposed to be a skull.
Yeah.
It's a skull.
Is that what's going on?
I don't know what's going on. Let's move past the cover because everything beyond the cover is incredible in this book.
True that. One of the things that impressed me the most, I would say, is just the little bits of prose and dialogue and the vernacular used. Everything is so spot on and just enough. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's super eloquent. It's really incredible how much you get a feel for the inner desires and goals of these characters just based off the little bit of narration and dialogue we have in this issue.
Definitely. We get a lot more character building than we did in either, I think, of the first two. Maybe the first
one.
The first issue we had a lot of inner monologue that really sort of set everything up. Mm-hmm. But now I feel like we're getting not just past who the characters think they used to be, but now we're sort of seeing the characters sort of grow and learn within the world that they now inhabit, especially with Archon, but also with the auxiliary characters.
Right. And not to mention his whole deal of he's not sure if it's the best idea to remember who he used to be anymore. He's not sure if that's really of use to him anymore.
Yeah, it's really bold that they've moved past this, I'm searching for where I came from, and he's sort of already embracing just where he is now, which I didn't expect. I thought we were going to get a huge long arc of him trying to find his lost home and become the king again. But it seems like they're not going that way. We're going with a straight barbarian.
Yeah, at this point, he's just like, fuck it. I guess I'm stuck here murdering people for, as long as it takes for one of them to murder me. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very bold take. I agree.
Yeah, it's very cool. And we also get some good humor. Mm-hmm. Warbow. Everything with this Warbow character was funny.
He got the map that Warbow made of Wierdworld. And through that, we kind of learned that everybody's experience of Wierdworld, every time you pass through it, is going to be a little bit different. But he had one thing that he mapped out that was like the rock that I wept on.
Yeah, and that character just... I love the way he's set up to where, is he crazy or is he not? Archon thinks he's crazy, but we as a reader, with the foresight of understanding how these sort of stories go together, he's probably not. Like, this crystal guy that they saved, he probably will come back in some way. But
probably.
Who the hell knows? It's Wierdworld.
He's still an asshole for letting the enemies know both of their names.
Yeah, but, that was hilarious when they say, oh, we know their names because they shouted it on their way out.
Yeah.
But... also, this new character that they've introduced, the Skull the Killer, was that his name? Awesome. He's sort of the mirror of Archon in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And the scene in the middle of the book where they're at the bar together was just breathtaking for me. Not just the scene where they're talking back and forth, which was just incredible dialogue on Aaron's part, but also the following scene where the tone quickly changes and we see the face-off. Mm-hmm. So fucking cool.
Yeah, it was great. No complaints other than the cover. Fix the fucking cover and just have a perfect book.
Just take one of the freaking images from in here and just stick it on the goddamn cover. Like,
any of them.
Yeah, the entire book from front to back is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the cover is fucking stupid.
It's not your fault, Jason Aaron. I still love you.
Awesome book. All right, now let's talk about one that I think has almost the opposite problem, actually. This is Wolf. This is issue number 2. And this is, basically it's by Cott with art by Taylor and coloring by Luridge or Lowride, or however you say his name. So yeah, what's up with this book?
It's kind of a good question. He's hanging out with this girl that may be the Antichrist. He questions some vampires at one point. There's some deal with a prison happening. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know either. It's still sort of a mystery, isn't it?
Yeah.
Artistically, I love this cover.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
It's really cool. It's got that sort of like 80s Miami Vice thing going on with the color choices, mixed with maybe like Akira or something. I don't know. It looks really cool. Then you open it up and it's pretty standard. If there's I think we mentioned this last time, if there's like a
standard
house
indie
image style, it's this. In fact, I think this is actually less quality than issue number 1.
Standard.
Yeah, it almost seems rushed in places, like it's unfinished.
I wasn't super impressed with the artwork. I think maybe it could be a device to make everything seem more normal, because if they go out of the box, then it's going to seem, when they have these portrayal of fantastical things like vampires and stuff, it's going to seem like something that would usually be in that medium. And it's really not, and it makes a point of not being that kind of book. That being said, I don't think a little detail would hurt.
Yeah. And I will say that there's nothing in here with the art that made it confusing or hard to follow. Everything is well laid out. I understand what's going on, but it doesn't draw me in. And that brings me to the other half of it, which is the other problem for me, is that the writing isn't really bringing me in either.
No, it's really not. And the thing that really pissed me off about this is the portrayal of accents are god-awful.
Yeah, frustrating.
Yeah. So in the beginning of the book, there's this female vampire, and she's supposed to be Scottish, I think. I spent like 6 fucking months there. I don't know what the hell a Scottish accent sounds like in Ailscott's head, but it's not reality.
There are things in this that I like, that I feel like just aren't being delivered well. Like that character, that was a big problem, the lettering. But but the character itself, there was some clever ideas. The idea that she was turned while she was menstruating, and so now she's just always menstruating.
Forever, yeah.
Just a forever menstruating vampire is...
It's like an opposite vampire. It's always losing blood.
Yeah, that's a problem, probably.
Yeah,
but,
probably.
I mean, it's a clever and interesting idea, which is a lot of what's going on here.
Yeah, and I kind of like it as the... I mean, we have the Malar Jupiter Circle being like the superhero slice of life, and this is almost like the Necronomicon slice of life, which is interesting, but again, it's kind of like an on-paper thing. On paper, I really like this book, but reading it, I'm just not that into it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, there's so many cool ideas, but somehow they're not tying together, and they're not drawing me into it. I'm just not enthralled with what's happening here. I sort of, I get to the end, and I don't care that I just read it.
Yeah. There's also, I think he's a bit nervous, maybe, about the way that he usually lays out the time and stuff like that. Like, there's little things where he's like, oh, it's not that complicated, it's fine. And it's really not that complicated.
It's
like,
not.
The actual, like, timeline, I had no trouble following whatsoever. But the storyline is just a huge what the fuck.
Right.
You know, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the things that they seem to be implying are complicated about what they're doing here are pretty simple. And the things that they're just sort of doing
Glazing
as if
over.
they're supposed to be simple are like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know why this matters.
Yeah. It's a hard swing and a miss, unfortunately, for me.
Yeah, so such potential, and I just feel like it's totally missing it. I'm totally with you. That'll bring us to the last comic that we have this week. That's Escape from New York, number 9. This is by Cebula, with art by Simic and coloring by Louise or Lewis.
So we got a new artist on this one, Simic. Simic was not on issue 8. He is on issue 9. In this issue, we finally see Snake make his way back to New York. New York is still a huge prison town. And his motivation is basically going in and trying to kill the president because he's sick of his shit.
Right. You go ahead and start with this one. What do you think of it?
I think really the key to making this character work is having a lot of interesting people for him to play off of. Most of the dialogue in this is not Snake speaking, and I don't think it should be. And I think Cebula or Cebula, whatever, I think he's doing a good job putting him around interesting enough people to where it's not really an issue. I think it's playing out pretty well. The art, we'll get to that a little bit later. What did you think?
Well, talking about the story, to me it feels sort of impersonal and cold, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can't... I'm sort of having the same problem I was having with Wolf, where I read through it and I don't feel like it's hitting me in any way. It's not... There's no hook that's pulling me into it. And I actually think this has to do with the art as well, not just the writing. So let's sort of... Unless you have something else you want to talk about in regards to what Cebula's doing here, I'd like to jump straight to that. We can maybe come back and talk about...
Yeah. There was a good twist at the end. But yeah, let's go ahead and go to the artwork.
Okay. I don't think you like the art from what I can understand. Here's the thing. I like the actual artwork itself. I think it has a cool sort of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Savage Dragon, 90s kind of thing where it's a little blocky and weak and not super well put together, but in a way that I feel like I get a good image. It's interesting to look at for me.
Let me show you a couple, the one panel that really pissed me off. So you can see he's smoking a cigarette. His mouth stops before the cigarette starts. And he, throughout this book, looks a little bit rodentish. So I don't know if in the artist's mind it's some sort of weird Jonas Hex had sex with a muskrat and thus was born Snake Plissken. That's what it fucking looks like. And it's stupid. Like, why does he look like a fucking muskrat in every panel?
I kind of like it. I kind of like that it's sort of squishy and smushed looking.
But Kurt Russell is not a rat face.
Yeah, I understand that. On the other hand, I think these layouts are garbage. There's no nice way to put this. I just think the layout is so bad that it's hurting the story. I can't follow what's happening as I read through it. And the way it's laid out makes it feel like I'm just jumping around randomly in the story. It just moves from one thing and then just jumps. Now he's on a motorcycle, and I don't feel like the thing that happened before has any segue to it.
Yeah, and I mean, there is something to be said for the nature of Snake Plissken and a character, and you don't really know what he's going to do, you know, so there may be a scene where he's just like, fuck it, I want a motorcycle now, and whatever. But to have that be like the rule, like every next panel kind of feels like that, instead of here's this one panel that's out of left field. Because when it's the one panel that's out of left field, it's like funny and interesting and makes him seem like dangerous, you know, unpredictable. But when it's every panel, it's just stupid and confusing.
Yeah, it's kind of the same trick over and over again.
Yeah. And it's not even necessary or appropriate, I would say, half the time.
Right.
You know, unless there's some big shock thing, like, yeah, him stealing a car and jumping over a prison wall. Cool. But just dialogue and stuff like that should make sense going from panel to panel. I don't know, man. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I think it's probably equal. Writing and art are both just they're not on the same page with this. And I don't feel like I have to try to put it together like how it came out this way. And it just seems like maybe they didn't really correspond well enough on what was going on here.
Yeah.
Or what the vision was. It just feels like a fucking mess.
Yeah. Not to mention his mom hair.
Yeah, it's not even a particularly good cover.
No.
And even with these jumps that they make, it's not even a good like character moment, or it doesn't even feel like something out of the movies. It's always these sort of long shots and distant and impersonal. Whereas, you know, if you're gonna cut to Snake Plissken all of a sudden on a motorcycle, give me his fucking face rocking that motorcycle up close, you know. Jump me right into there like it's a fast cut to something else cool that's happening. But it's just like, here's a bird's eye view of him on a motorcycle because I'm too fucking lazy to actually draw him on a motorcycle in an interesting way.
This is like the month of artists fucking up Kurt Russell comics.
Yeah.
It just pisses me off.
Yeah,
like,
we
why?
had the same problem with Big Trouble.
Did Boom decide to pay everybody less so like they're good people left? And what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
All right.
Yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps it up for our weekly comic review. This Sunday night, Monday morning, we're going to be looking at The Black Mirror by Snyder and Jock. Last Sunday, back there somewhere, that's a really random way of saying back there because there's nothing back here, it's just white. But
yeah, it's the void, man.
It's like, where would it be?
Yeah.
Over there? Probably. Well, over there, I think you can probably end up, if you look around, they'll see where we did the other Snyder and Jock, which was Witches.
Mm-hmm. White Chicks. So we're going to follow that up with Black Mirror. I'm still reading that currently. You've already read it. I think it looks pretty cool so far. I'm pretty into it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And we get the Dick Grayson Batman, which is I know your favorite.
I'm liking it quite a bit so far.
Nice.
So check back with us on that, and then next week, of course, we'll be back for another weekly review. It should be the last week of comics for this month. Is that right already? Man, this month's going fast.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, the following week, we'll have our monthly review then.
Sweet.
All right, well, go ahead and comment and subscribe and
do your thing.
Like and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and MySpace and
finish your milk before you leave the table.
Zanga and
Live Journal.
The news groups. Thanks a lot. Bye.